This is the Hoshimoto City Daiko Mountain Ridge Tunnel construction site. And down in the pit before us is the Kaiju fossil that was recently discovered here. And we have with us now the one who unearthed it, the Dinosaur Professor himself. A favorite of kids far and wide, Professor Shinya Makino.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on.
How was that pose? You like it?
This brings me back. I used to go nuts over Professor Makino. When I was a kid, I was really afraid of Kaiju. But he taught me they're living things, like any other animal out there. His tagline was, "We have wings of imagination." With a tiny fossil, we can wonder so much about a creature infinitely. We just have to spread our wings of imagination.
He's a consultant for the GDF as a paleontologist, too.
Impressive.
You think?
Oh, Professor, while we have you, what is that glittering crystal-like stuff over there?
Ah, sodium chloride, also called halite. In other words, it's salt.
Really? What's salt doing here?
Well, this used to be an ocean, if you can believe it. So that's probably the reason why. But we don't know the exact details yet.
Then this was an ocean.
That's right.
I had no idea.
Hiroshi, whatever happens, I want to do everything I can.
The Kaiju's appeared at the ridge!
Hey there.
Whoa. So it really is true. Is this even possible?
Check it out! It's a lake!
In just a few days, a lake has formed on the top of the Daiko mountain ridge. The very place a Kaiju fossil was found. The GDF has issued an evacuation order for residents of the area. On a positive note, there are no casualties or missing persons being reported at this time.
There's been no Kaiju sightings, but considering the situation, the GDF has asked us to investigate. We have 1 week. Civilian evacuation.
Skip? Excuse me. Is there reason to believe this area may have Kaiju activity?
Wait, Professor Makino?
Well, that's what we're here to find out.
Wait a minute.
Long time no see, Professor Makino.
Hiroshi. Hiroshi-ban, right?
Yeah.
Chief, hold on. You know the professor?
Yep. I was like you, a dinosaur kid. All the way to college. I dig up fossils for fun, which is how the two of us met.
Then, did you two, do excavations and stuff together?
Don't forget you're on the clock, buddy. Try to reel it in.
Anyway, Hiroshi, you're with Skip now. That's great.
While we have you, Do you have any idea what could have caused this lake?
I do not. And personally, I wouldn't call it a lake. I'd say ocean.
You would?
Salty!
Careful! What if it turned out to be toxic or something?
Salt concentration 3.4%. It's basically the same as seawater, so he'll be fine.
Okay, but why is there seawater here?
Good question. Let's investigate.
I'll help, if you don't mind.
We'd appreciate it.
Thank you.
Looks like the tunnel's been filled in.
Do you have time for a few questions?
Sure.
Before the lake appeared, had you noticed anything strange?
Special Investigator Ishido.
Nice to meet you.
Any new information?
I heard a weird sound from up in the mountains.
Your week of living as an evacuee ends today. Tell us how it's been.
You're constantly around strangers, and it's tough to be mindful of them all. So it's been stressful, I think.
My kids are really happy they'll be able to go back to school now. A week's a long time to be cooped up at that age.
Turns out the salt concentration varies depending on the location.
What about that really dense spot in the corner? Could the seawater be coming from there?
Composition-wise, the water seems to be coming from an aquifer, and then it's mixing with sodium chloride, which makes it similar to seawater.
It's also seeping into the surrounding soil. Soon enough, it'll affect the local environment as well.
Say a kaiju burrowed in from the ocean. Could that have brought the seawater?
It's not very likely. Any word on a kaiju?
No eyewitness accounts, so nothing to report.
Meaning, while we may not know how an ocean formed in the mountains, we do know the presence of kaiju couldn't be verified.
Then, is our investigation over?
When you put it like that, I guess so.
Are we okay with that? Nobody seems satisfied. Maybe there's no kaiju, or it's a 1% chance. But if we're wrong, when the order's lifted, those people could get hurt.
But we don't have enough evidence to delay the lifting of the order.
They're staggering them. One by one, the shelters will send people home. The first group is scheduled for the morning. That means 10 a.m.
Then we have 10 hours. There's still time.
With natural phenomena, nothing is certain. But we have a responsibility here. Let's keep looking until we're all satisfied.
Okay.
And I'll help.
No objections here.
I'll report our plans to the GDF. Now, let's move.
Roger.
Hiroshi, you surprised me. You've grown so much since I last saw you.
Not really. I see you've got that fossil. Never got rid of it, huh?
When you were in college, you brought it to me, all excited. I'll never forget. It's from the Daiko Mountain Ridge. Then you said, I think it might be a fossil of a creature yet to be discovered. But I just didn't believe you.
Uh-huh. You said, judging by the curve, the creature would have to be colossal. And here on Earth, nothing would have been big enough.
Yep. I thought it was a meteorite. Or at the very least, something from another planet. But a few years later, the Kaiju made themselves known.
K-Day.
I've always regretted that. I should have listened. Who knows where we'd be if I'd taken you seriously.
Well, who could blame you?
I don't think we would have prevented the Kaiju emerging altogether. But still, research could have progressed some. It's my biggest regret. Judging based solely on experience and data. Rejecting the fresh ideas of a young man. Yet I tell kids to spread their wings of imagination. Ironic coming from me.
"10 years ago, the moment Skip was founded, I just jumped at the opportunity to join."
How come? The reality is, you'd have been a great researcher.
Ever since K-Day, I've been wondering. What's the point of it? Everything I've learned. Shouldn't it be to help the people I care about in life? Don't you think that too? You want people to feel close to science, so you go on TV.
I'm just following the trend.
I regret my choices as well. I should have researched until I was satisfied. So now, whatever happens, I want to do everything I can.
Okay. I agree. I do too. You have grown, haven't you?
Chief, Professor, just wanted to say breakfast is ready.
Thanks.
I made some tea.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Please.
Thank you.
Here's yours. Are you having a boiled egg?
It's the only thing that goes with coffee.
But does it though?
The salt.
Look!
Sodium chloride. Professor!
Yeah, I know.
This is a little out there, but listen up.
This whole time, the seawater and the Kaiju have been treated as unrelated things.
At best. We thought the Kaiju somehow brought the seawater with it.
Stay with us. As for this fossil covered in salt, we thought the area around the Daiko mountain ridge used to be an ocean and the salt was from its water. But
What if the Kaiju itself produces salt?
if there's a similar Kaiju to the fossilized one, it could have woken up from a long slumber.
So we're saying there's a kaiju creating seawater?
That would mean there could be a kaiju lurking somewhere in the lake right now.
Rin, pull up the salt concentration data.
Right.
Huh?
The highest concentration
Is 5.2%.
The evacuation order will be lifted soon. Please, be patient.
We're checking with HQ now.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
It's 9:30. 30 more minutes left.
I'm at the highest area of salt concentration.
What is that?
It's where the tunnel was. U-Bot, get in closer.
Roger!
There's a small opening. U-Bot, can you enter that gap?
Sure. U-Bot is on the job!
Whoa, what's wrong?
I suddenly feel so light. The water here seems different. The salt concentration is... Huh? 35%? What? And I...
Professor, hold on tight! Come here!
It's here! We were right! A kaiju!
U-Bot!
It's Livagera!
This is Skip. A kaiju's appeared at the ridge. You can't lift the evacuation order.
Salty! We were right! It was the kaiju!
You guys, be careful!
It's Ultraman Arc! Now's our chance! Watch your step. Rin.
How does it know where Ark is? Everything's so cloudy.
Well, whales can use echolocation. It lets them understand their surroundings.
Man, I can't believe you panicked and fell in the lake.
I'm sorry.
Be more careful.
The salt levels have dropped, which is good news for the environment. And the water may eventually dry up.
It must be used to burrow underground.
Well, what do we have here?
Maybe it secreted salt to make the environment habitable. But what I'd really like to know is why it evolved to produce salt in the first place.
Well, inside this burrow, the salt concentration was what? I think 35%? With those conditions, forget it. Hardly anything could survive.
So then, you think it was to keep enemies away?
That's it.
They're having fun.
You've got lots to talk about.
I mean, we gotta spread our wings of imagination, right? Professor, look at this. Its front legs seem to be degenerated.
And that's one big mouth.
The power of imagination.
Wow, that was a nasty one.
I'm sorry.
未来はこの手にあるわ手を取り合って夢見ていこうだに今日は裸足で踊ってメラメラ心に火は灯る誰でもけなされてもそれがきっと一番輝くのさ夢は焦がれど焦げたりはしないよ太陽みたいに毎日会いに来て僕らを照らしてくれるきっと愛はこの手にあるわでっかい声で笑い合ってりゃオーライそうなって問題ない未来はこの手にあるわ手を取り合って夢見ていたいんだメラメラララララメラメラ夢見ていたいんだメラメラララララメラメラ夢見ていたいんだ
In the mountains, we encounter a somewhat strange clerk at a small inn. Meanwhile, Rin and I are totally baffled by Mr. Ishido's different approach to our investigation. Then, that kaiju appears. Next time on Ultraman Arc, welcome to the Akebono Inn. Time to run. Yuma!